very, very unattractive, and I mean extremely unattractive, to be unable to find a partner if you really try and, for a length of time, try to find one. Thus, the community, first of all, does not allow females because they can't be incel, in quotes, because I said it's debatable. And second, because, this is something of the female nature. I don't have anything against them, but they generally seem to like to attract attention to themselves. When they are in a forum or just on YouTube or Reddit, they generally start saying, female here, or I'm a girl, but they always need to state the fact that they're females and try to attract attention to themselves, which is, sure, it's just their nature, perhaps, or not. I'm sure Chris Lee will tell me that. But it also creates problems in the forum itself, because males tend to really orbit that attention. And, especially in an incel forum where guys want female attention, it's going to create trouble. So overall, it has nothing to do with a dislike of girls. It's just they don't really fit in the forum.
Okay, Christy, do you have anything that I'm sure you do? Would you like to respond to any of those first couple points that Sarge hit?
Well, I actually have more questions because I've never had an opportunity to talk to someone who would incel, so I consider this a pretty good some questions as well. In terms of having a men's only space in a private organization, I have no problem with that. I think if they want what I guess you kind of call a safe space for incels, I consider Alcoholics Anonymous a safe space. I consider churches a safe space, or mosques. I think that there's a lot of privations where a membership based on a certain criteria is required, and that's and it goes both ways. So I'm not going to nitpick, but I am curious. I want a technical question and then a bigger question, if I could, to Sarge. First of all, when you do your intake, do you by chance collect the people who are joining the forum? Do they at birth or something when they join to make sure they're over 18 or something?
Christy, your mic's cutting out just a little bit. You're
okay. Sorry about that.
You're kind of choppy there. You might have to restate that question because it was kind of choppy.
Sure. My apologies. The question, I'll try to. It was fine before. I don't know what's going on now. I'll turn some Wi-Fi things off. Maybe that'll help. Is my sound any better yet?
That sounds clear, yes.
Okay, good. The question I had was if you collected age cohort data on the people who joined a year of birth to make sure they're over 18 or something. Just, have the data on sort of like the average who are in the forum. I would be curious to that.
Well, first of all, let me just say that English is not my first language, so a cohort, I'm not really sure what that means. But the question is clear.
Group. Yeah.
Oh,
like 18
right,
to 24 kind of thing.
Sure. We actually, every 6 months, we do a survey on the forum. I only send the survey to verified incels, in quotes, people I know that they're not trolling, that they're serious in the forum and such. And you can actually find it on the threads that I posted. I don't have it right in front of me right now, but these people say in which range, in which group of age they belong to. Yes. You said above 18, if I knew how many. So I imagine your concern here is whether we allow minors or not.
My concern is no. It's more just like you have 18 to 24, 25 to 34. In other words, do you know the average age of the person using the forum? That's really what I really wanted to get at. Did you collect the data where you could say with some accuracy the average age of the person in the forum, or about what age ranges are most popular?
Well, the latest survey was for about 400 people, I believe. Definitely not the full scope of the
it's a representative sample. I'm sure.
Right. I would have to look it up, but I suppose I could give you yes. I'll look it up while we continue, so not to stop the whole conversation.
It's just my suspicion is just that they're probably like early 20s is kind of the age range I think would be the what's the word I'm looking for, the modal category. Like in the 20s would be the most popular range of people, and that maps onto some data that I've looked at and brought. But aside from that more technical question, which I appreciate you looking up, The other question I had is, what do you think the overall goal or purpose, or the mission statement, if you want to say, of the forum is? What are the sort of values and things that you think exemplify the kinds of activities and what the forum provides its members?
Sure. It doesn't have a particular settled mission per se. You could say that it has two particular ones. If I had to say something now, I would say that one, it allows free speech of its members, and two, it allows the community of so-called incels find, let's say, a support, a place where to meet and discuss incel-related topics with people who understand each other and belong to the same group.
You said the word support there. And in what kind of ways do people support each other there? Like, can you give some examples?
Well, it's not up to me the way the community support itself. I simply manage the forum, but I understand your question, and as that, I would say that I don't know if you had a specific, just to make a bit of a hyperbole. Yeah, you get the point. Here, if you had a specific, I don't know, deformity or a very specific illness that it was very rare in the population, and you found a forum where people who have this specific deformity or illness gathered, I'm sure you would understand why it would be a very precious resource to you. Well, the same way incels who come here find the same kind of relief in finding this place. They can talk to people who understand them. They can read about other people's issues that resonate with their own, etc.
But my understanding of incel forums is, things like the black pill and a real sort of self-hatred generated and rewarded. That doesn't, to me at least, doesn't seem very healthy for men. It doesn't seem like a very healthy environment for men to be in. So I'm wondering how you consider that support.
Well, if you define the black pill the way that you just did, then of course it's unhealthy, because the black pill is not really about self-hatred. The name, I know it sounds very ominous or perhaps nihilistic, but it's simply a name. The black pill is simply a name given to an ideology, and the ideology is backed up by science. To put it very simply, the black pill is a set of beliefs backed by science regarding our society in terms of sociology, in how romantic and sexual relationships work.
I think you actually unpack this, because I don't know that people in the audience understand. So I think we should take some time and really unpack some of the values and the outlooks of the black pill for people to understand. So please go ahead. I mean, I know the ContraPoints. I don't know if people have seen the ContraPoints video on incels. It seemed a very fair representation to me, and so I wanted to give you the opportunity to kind of summarize, the black pill in your words, how you sort of, your understanding of it and what it does for you in terms of your life.
Right. Well, my definition is by no means exhaustive nor sufficient. I'm sure every single incel has, to a certain extent, a different definition. Therefore, please don't take my word as final. But I guess to explain the black pill, I should go before to the blue pill and the red pill, which are termed, at least the red pill, I know it's far more common, at least in the knowledge of people. They have heard the word before, probably. Well, all right. So the blue pill, put it again simply, is the belief that when it comes to relationships, whether it be just friendship or romance or picking up girls, that personality and just being yourself are what matters the most, and that is what is really going to help you succeed in your objective of gathering creating that friendship, etc. The red pill says that view is very naive, and that instead a certain core, let's say, attitudes or behaviors will help you the most. For example, if you use perfume, if you have a certain dominant attitude, if you speak with a deeper voice, a certain haircut, these things will help really push you, to success. And that appearance in particular is very important. The black pill is simply
also, sorry, can we just go back a little bit? Because
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but before we get off the blue pill and the red pill, would you characterize the views of women in the red pill as positive views of women? Is there anything positive about women, or do you think that the red pill primarily portrays women in a negative way?
No, by no means. The red pill is simply, how to put it? The red pill says that if you do certain things, things will go better for you. It doesn't talk about anyone being bad or good. The blue pill neither. In fact, I have known women that are red pilled that have picked up on these attitudes and beliefs, and in fact, it has generally benefited them in the way that they have more fuller relationships and they understand males better. That's my experience, at least in the people that I've known. Of course, I'm sure there are others' experiences out there.
So if I'm understanding this, your description right, when men try to have relationships on sort of an honest basis with women, and right is that's you can never succeed that way, or that's a lie, and you have to kind of use game to win over.
Well, let me put it this way: is it really lying? I mean, if I go to a bar and I see a girl, and I really like her,
I said
I'm
game.
Really shy.
I said game. Like have specific psychological tactics that you prepare in advance and go into a situation in order to get a certain outcome. It's a transactional thing.
Well, I'm sure you don't need an ideology to know the answer to that. Men and women both behave differently when they're playing, the game of seduction, right?
I'm comparing this though to the mentality of the blue pill. That's the point. So I'm trying to create the conceptual distinctions between men and women's relationships in the blue pill, the red pill, and then the black pill.
Well, okay, all right. I'm not sure I follow your question, but let me put it this way. The blue pill would be me going on Tinder, because you talked about game, right? So we're talking about seduction. I go on Tinder and I say, hey, I'm a really shy guy, but I really like you. I think that we should date. While the red pill would be, hey, I mean, I'm not going to make an interpretation here of what someone might say.
But let's say negging somebody, for instance.
I don't know the definition of negging.
It's a pickup artist tactic. Okay, it's a pickup artist where you insult someone to put them on their back foot rather than giving them a compliment.
No. Why would you do that?
Oh, that's a pickup artist technique. It's meant to make her want that you're. I don't know. Anyway,
Christy, what's been your experience with the red pill? You kind of want to go through and state what you're...
I mostly watched. Well, I've watched other people's stuff on it. So I'm sorry I kind of interrupt there, but I'm trying to just really get the distinction. So that's really helpful. I think actually that what Sarge was saying about Tinder, like I'm a nice guy but shy. The red pill person kind of goes on with some kind of seduction game in that way. If I could, sorry, and let him continue then. Let Sarge continue.
Talking about the red pill, there's no pegging. I believe that was or negging, the word that you used. The red pill simply says that if you have a certain attitude, it doesn't need to be aggressive or violent in any way. It's simply a certain attitude that is more radiant of confidence and knowledgeability or whatever it is. I don't have a list of how to act on Tinder right now, but if you act a certain way, you're more suited to you have more success finding girls than otherwise. I mean, it's very simple. Girls nowadays, I'm not going to generalize, but I'm sure you can imagine that a lot of girls like very to the point, dominant, confident, bold guys rather than shy, introverted guys when we're talking about game. No.
I don't really, again, talking about women, it's a large group, and I think a lot of times incels frame everything as 18 to 22-year-old women, and there's a much broader category of women there to think about. So that's another point. But getting back to how would a black pill person approach Tinder?
Well, first of all, let me just say that that's why I say that I did not intend to generalize women. I am not